I'm Maha, and I have with me right now Greg Raifman, who is the president of Rubicon Project. And we're talking about a handful of different things, but I think the main thing that I want to start with is mobile. It's, mobile is taking us, it's a new frontier. It's taken us to another level of, just intimacy and personal relationship between the consumer and the telephone, but then subsequently, or the mobile device, but then subsequently between advertisers and their consumers. So as you called it, as you coined it a minute ago, it's kind of a watershed moment for mobile, maybe the way internet was 20 years ago or whatever.
That's right.
So let's talk a little bit about that, about why you think that this is that pivotal of a moment.
So Maha, so great to be with you.
Thank you.
And this really could be the year of mobile. We've been hearing about it year after year for the last 5 years, but when you look at the growth of mobile and the companies that are involved with mobile, whether it's Facebook growing from 0 to 15 plus billion in just a couple years, companies like ours or others in the industry seeing this tremendous rising tide of growth of actual money spent in mobile, not just eyeballs on it, but money spent. This really could be that watershed moment where 15 years ago we talked about how the internet was gradually changing things. We don't even talk about that anymore. It's just a total given. And I think in the next several years we're going to be saying the same thing with respect to mobile. We're not even going to talk about mobile as this new device or new technology. It's just going to be part of what every advertising company is going to do, because the users are going to mobile, advertisers are going to follow the users, ad tech providers are going to follow the users, and that's why we're all going to be focused on mobile in the next coming 5 to 10 years.
Another thing I wanted to ask about is one of the biggest challenges I think people are facing right now is the idea of ad blocking. And we've spoken about that. I've spoken to a few different people about that, but I think it is a big challenge. And I want to know, in your thoughts, what's happening towards, where's the trend going with ad blocking, and then with overcoming that challenge?
Sure. Well, ad blocking is a very, very important issue, and it's central to what's going on right now in ad tech. And we need to distinguish it between privacy. It's not fundamentally about privacy, it's about the user experience, whether it's on a desktop or in a mobile environment. And so we need, as an industry, we need to look at this as an industry challenge and embrace it, not hold on to the past, because consumers and users are telling us, you know what? If you don't send us the right information, meaning an advertisement that is relevant to what I want at this point, I'm going to block it. And we have to balance that user need with the idea that so much incredible content has been created from advertisement, meaning that advertisement has been the fuel for tremendous growth of the internet and the web and all the content that's created on the websites. So without that fuel, we don't want to get to the point where we lose so much great content. So the user has to start to balance, am I willing to receive this kind of information, which is relevant to me? Or am I going to say no to that and I'm going to have to pay for it in some other way, shape, or form? Because you won't be able to get both. You won't be able to block all ads and get the internet for free.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
So that's a real challenge.
Yeah.
And it's not something that's just for Google or Facebook to fix. It's an industry-wide challenge that we all have to work together to fix.
So you talked a little bit about the user having to balance, their needs versus their wants and so on. And at the same time, I think also marketers and advertisers have a certain balance they have to do, which is, how do I get my message across without being, creepy and overly intrusive? Creepy in how much I know and the loss of privacy element that we were talking about, but also just, being intrusive. Mobile is such a personal device. It's like, it's a tough balance.
It's a very, very tough balance. And research has started to prove that, or has proven that users or consumers are willing to give up some of that privacy under certain conditions. One, you got to keep my data secure. Okay, that's a non-starter otherwise. And number two is the users are willing to commit to a more personal or intimate relationship with the brand, as long as you provide me that information that I'm looking for. So I look at it this way: we have 1 to 1.5 million apps already out there. I don't know that you and I are looking for that many more apps. What we're looking for is a smarter experience with our smartphone, knowing when we need to find information, whether it's advertising or otherwise. So it is a balancing thing. We are willing to give up certain amounts of privacy, but it's going to come with a couple of issues that we're not going to be willing to get over, and that is, keeping our data very secure, and then, of course, allowing us to pick and choose when we want that data.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the trends in mobile, since we've been talking so much about mobile.
Yep.
Let's talk about some of the trends that you think are really important going forward. Like, what do you think is going to be the big deal in, for example, 2016?
Well, I think, listen, we're seeing the movement to cross-platform. Mobile is, we've talked about how the growth of it is incredible. We ourselves have seen just unbelievable growth in the last few years, so we're quite pleased about it. And we're now looking at ourselves as a mobile-first company, and that we wouldn't have thought of several years ago. But when you look at it from the standpoint, there's a lot of advertising still being done in different environments, TV, traditional places like billboards, radio, print, as well as desktop display. Brands are looking to attract users across all different platforms, mobile being one of them. I think, Ma, what you're going to really see is a movement towards high premium advertisement like video in the mobile environment. And I think that's going to be bought less and less through open exchanges and more through private marketplaces. What we really haven't talked about actually is the advent of automation. And with automation, you're going to see far more efficiency at scale, far more cost efficiency and a better ability to target and do better ROI for brands. You put that all together, and brands are going to see a better value for their spend, and that's really what they're looking for.
That was actually going to be my next question. I was going to talk about the value of big data and the value of automation and programmatic in terms of allowing advertisers to then hone in and really get the right content to the right people.
Absolutely. So automation does a couple of things. One is that it creates a better environment for targeting because we create so much data. As an example, we create over 5 trillion bid requests per month. I mean, that's a staggering amount that we've created over time. We take that data and we allow buyers to use that data, big brands to use that data to do a better job in targeting. We then take it another step and help them create the best ROI possible. And this is the trend we're seeing in the industry, is the use of so much data to make things more efficient at scale, as I mentioned, but also better targeted.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for all that insight, and good luck. And